Imagine the scene. An elegant restaurant, well-dressed customers, the clinking of silverware against porcelain. Suddenly, a man in tattered clothes enters and makes a request that leaves everyone speechless. He doesn't want money. He doesn't want charity. He simply wants a plate of food in exchange for something no one expected. What happened in the next few minutes transformed that ordinary place into a moment no one would ever forget. Stay until the end of this video because the twist will deeply move you. And if you like heartwarming, true stories, leave a like and subscribe to the channel because every week I bring incredible stories like this one. Today we're going to talk about how a simple request for a plate of food to play the piano shocked everyone and changed lives forever. Press play and come with me. It was a cold winter night in New York, more precisely on December 15th, 2023. The Bella Vista restaurant, located in the heart of Manhattan, was packed as usual. Families celebrated, couples dined, executives closed deals. In the center of the room, a gleaming black grand piano decorated the space, but it was rarely played. Only on special occasions did the restaurant hire a professional pianist. Around 8 o'clock, the door opened and a man entered who was completely out of place in that setting. Thomas was about 55 years old, unshaven, with disheveled hair, and a worn coat that barely protected him from the inclement cold outside. His shoes were worn, with holes in the soles. He carried only a small backpack. The maitre d' immediately approached, with the expression of someone about to politely ask someone to leave. But Thomas raised his hand in a respectful gesture and said something that took everyone by surprise. His voice was calm, polite, almost poetic. "Sir, I didn't come to ask for money. I didn't come to cause trouble. I would just like to propose a fair exchange. I see you have a magnificent piano there. Allow me to play a piece for you. And in return, I ask only for a hot meal. Anything will do. It's been 3 days since I've had a decent meal." Silence fell over the restaurant. Some customers looked on with disdain, others with pity. The manager, a man named Marco, found himself in a delicate position. On the one hand, he didn't want to embarrass his customers. On the other, there was something about the man's dignity that touched him. Against all odds, Marco nodded. "All right, play some music. If it's good, you get your dinner. And if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to leave a like so that more people could be moved too." Thomas walked slowly to the piano. His hands trembled. It was unclear whether from cold, hunger, or emotion. He sat on the bench, straightened his posture, closed his eyes for a moment, as if connecting with something deep within himself. Then he placed his fingers on the keys. What happened next was absolutely magical. The first notes of Debussy's Clair de Lune filled the room. But it wasn't just music. It was pure feeling transformed into sound. Each note carried a story, a pain, a hope. Thomas's fingers danced across the keys with a precision and sensitivity that revealed years, perhaps decades, of classical training. This was no ordinary man. This was an artist, a true master of the instrument. Point one by one, the customers stopped eating. Conversations ceased. Waiters stood in the middle of the room, trays in hand, mesmerized. Some people began to cry, without understanding exactly why. Music had that power. It accessed places in the soul that words cannot reach. When Thomas finished, he remained motionless for a few seconds, still immersed in the emotion of the performance. Then, the silence was broken by a round of applause. Thunderous applause, people on their feet, tears streaming down the faces of strangers. Manager Marco approached, his eyes brimming with tears, and said, "Sir, who are you?" Thomas smiled shyly and replied, "My name is Thomas Alexander Morrison. 20 years ago, I was the principal pianist of the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra. I played on the world's greatest stages, Carnegie Hall, Royal Albert Hall, Sydney Opera House. But life has its setbacks. I lost my wife to cancer 12 years ago. I fell into a deep depression. I started drinking to escape the pain. I lost my job, my house, my friends. I lost everything except that. He touched the piano tenderly. Except the music. It never abandoned me, even when I abandoned myself. The entire restaurant was in tears now. An elderly lady stood up and said, "You're not just going to have one course. You're going to have whatever you want, dessert included on the house." Other customers began to approach, offering help, business cards, contacts. A man at the back of the room revealed himself to be a music producer. He said, "Thomas, I want to help you revive your career. You have a talent that the world needs to hear again." That night, Thomas didn't just get a plate of food. He got his dignity back. He got hope. He got a new beginning. 3 months after that memorable day, Thomas returned to Bella Vista, but this time as a special guest. He had entered a rehabilitation program, was living in a modest apartment, and had managed to get some gigs in cafes and small theaters around the city. The producer who met him that night kept his word and was helping to rebuild his career. Today, Thomas teaches piano to young people in vulnerable social situations. He says his mission now is to use music to transform lives, just as his life was transformed on that cold December night. He never went hungry again, never slept on the streets again, but most importantly, he never lost hope again. This story teaches us something powerful. Never judge someone by their appearance. Behind torn clothes, there may be extraordinary talent. Behind a homeless person, there may be a PhD, an artist, a brilliant professional who has only experienced setbacks in life. We are all just a few steps away from losing everything or gaining everything back. The difference lies in how we treat each other, in our ability to see the human being beyond their circumstances. If this story touched your heart, share this video with someone who needs to believe that there is always hope. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next exciting stories. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been in a situation where someone completely surprised you? Until next time, and remember, never underestimate the power of a kind gesture. It can change a life forever.